Good evening, Q family. So glad to have you back. We've got a special treat for you tonight. A guest, a soothsayer of sorts. Someone who sees a bit further down the road. Just such a person is exactly who you need when taking on the Illuminati, or the deep state, as you have it. Most of you have no idea just how deep that rabbit hole goes. The following interview should shed some light. Have you thought about what would happen if Q and the team were not successful? What is Plan B? Plan B is make Plan A work. However, should they fail, and we must pray that they don't, you must have a plan. If you don't, the following will help prepare you. Stay tuned.
Okay, so by knowing our history, we can predict the future. Now, a lot of people don't know about Night of the Long Knives, and what that was back in World War II history, before Hitler became the Fuhrer, he had a lot of opposition in politics. And in one night, he had these guys called the Brown Shirts. In one night, they killed like a couple hundred politicians. All the opposition leadership was annihilated in one night. And by the next day, nobody was left. And then he shortly became the Fuhrer. And what happened to the Brown Shirts was they were all killed, because it's always better to leave no witnesses. And why this is relevant today is because when the New World Order has endless funds and minions who don't want to go to the jail, people who are compromised by being part of the pedophile cult, they know what's about to happen to them, and they know they're about to go to jail or in prison or executed. So the ones that have not given up their sources and joined Trump in this movement, they know they're in trouble. So when they have endless funds, it's really obvious what's about to happen in the potential blue wave, the Night of the Long Knives of this potential moment. Hopefully this will never happen. But it would not take too much for a nuke, a suitcase nuke next to a Trump rally with thousands of people, because everyone knows where Trump's going to be. He's going to be at this city or the next city, and do a coordinated attack. And they will not. It doesn't matter how many people are going to die. They'll kill 20,000 people just to get them, right? Picture that scenario. At the same time, a coordinated effort for Antifa to do a massive attacks throughout the country as a diversion to redirect the police, keep them occupied as the deep state mercenary special forces were doing coordinated attacks all at the same time, hitting all the conservative targets. And that way, all the leadership would be gone. And it would be such a heinous situation where it could trigger a massive collapse, financial collapse, which could also trigger total chaos and bedlam and anarchy. And then they would make an efficient use of the crisis, because we're talking hundreds of millions of gun owners in maybe not hundreds of millions, but maybe millions of gun owners in the United States, which is their opposition force for one world government. So in order to get rid of them, the best way would be for the UN peacekeepers who would already be here to shut off all the highways and not let anyone out of the cities. And when there's no more food coming in on the semi-trucks to bring in food, there's no more resources coming in. What would happen is the gun owners would start fighting each other just to survive, just to live. So when the UN peacekeepers and the Chinese who are already here, if they were to hit the power plants and or have like an EMP and all those other false flags, to have no power, that way it'll just be total bedlam. And what happens is, just to survive, just to live, we're talking door-to-door home invasions of people just to get food and resources. And if they were to let that go for like 6 months or a year, something like that, by the time that's done, then the UN peacekeepers will go in and mop up what's left. And at the same time, you will have these FEMA camps, right, for people who don't have anything going on, who just want to live, and their families go in, please save us, and they have these situations where, yeah, we'll feed you, come on in here. Then they'll separate the men and the women and the children, just like they did in Nazi Germany, and then they'll be interviewed to find out where their heads at. Are they the difference between essential and non-essential personnel? Now, anyone who's old, they're going to liquidate them. Anyone who voted for Trump, they're going to liquidate them. Anyone who's conservative, they're going to liquidate them. But anyone who's on board with this globalist agenda, who's willing to go and be slaves, that would be considered essential personnel. So the plan, what they would do with these people would be to go door to door and start cleaning out all the houses for whatever supplies are left to bring back to the FEMA camp in order to efficiently run the camp. And these camps would be all over the United States. Now, there was a movie called The Soldier with Kurt Russell, where they took the kids and they trained them from a young age, from like age of 5, to be total badasses and total killing machines. They would take your kids and from the FEMA camp into these special schools to train them to be these type of people, and anyone who doesn't meet the mark will be liquidated. And this whole thing, I was watching this movie, Silence of the Lambs, and they're talking about Hannibal Lecter, and Jodie Foster was going in to pick his brain to find out how to find this serial killer. So what I'm thinking is, I'm like in the mind of these people, of what they would do in order to get their way. And this is what I'm talking about. And hopefully this will never happen. And we're talking like, at the same time, a Red Dawn scenario. That's just one tsunami of what I'm talking about. Another situation would be a bioweapon, right? And the media would blow up this bioweapon. Oh my God, you got to get these vaccinations, right? So you get these forced vaccinations so you don't spread it, right? But in order to get the vaccination, you will fill out an application. Who'd you vote for? Are you conservative? And basically get enough information which would determine if they're going to give you the death shot. Now, if you're one of the good guys, they're going to kill you in the vaccination. If you're essential personnel, then they'll give you the cure. And they're probably not even a cure. The whole thing could be fake. It'd be like a false flag, like blown up by the media of something that may or may not even be real, right? So that's another situation. So during the rioting, we got Antifa, we got Black Lives Matter. It's the diversionary force. Man, this is so heinous. Anyway, that's the quick rundown of what I hope never happens, and I hope I'm wrong. And the only reason why I'm thinking this may happen is just by knowing the history. Oh, there's one more major thing we need to talk about. So Mao Zedong, leader of the Chinese, killed 200 million of his own people. The people who did the killing were called red shirts, and these were like maybe 12 to 17-year-olds who were brainwashed in school, right? They're being brainwashed with their political agenda, and they end up starting killing their parents and started killing everybody who was not on board with this agenda. It's kind of like having a bunch of liberals teaching our children in colleges and in high school, and they're coming after them at such a young age that they're bringing up all these future globalists who are going to turn on everybody and turn on our kids. That's who's educating our children, and I suggest homeschooling. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks.
Thanks for stopping by. Hope to chat again soon. Night night.